Hello lovelies, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Reads with Lauren. I am Lauren and it's great to be chatting with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I wanted to have a little chat with you about the books that I managed to read in April. This month wasn't a great month, I have to be honest with you. I definitely didn't reach my normal quota. I read a total of 8 books this month. Not much at all compared to previous months, but that's okay. It was a busy month and I'm hoping to get on top of things in May. So I don't have a huge amount of books obviously to review for you, but I did read a couple of really good books this month and yeah, let's talk about them. So the first books that I want to talk about are 3 Doctor Who books that I read this month via audio. So I'm working my way through the book series. I've got a few of them on audio, so I've been really enjoying them. They've kind of been just a little comfort read when I'm cleaning, so something where I don't really have to focus. But I've finished Doctor Who Apollo 23 by Justin Richards. This one was about an astronaut being switched with a woman and their dog randomly, meaning that, you know, the astronaut was on the moon, the woman was on the planet, and they swapped, and the Doctor has to figure out why and what happened. Then Night of the Humans by David Llewellyn. This one is about the Doctor and Amy landing on 250,000 years worth of junk, floating in deep space, and it's inhabited by, I need to look to make sure I pronounce it correctly, C'Tun, Sologs, and humans, right in the midst of an all-out war. That was a fun one. That was very interesting. And The Forgotten Army by Brian Minchin, and this one was about this man finding an artifact of a mammoth, taking it to a museum to go on display, and the mammoth comes to life. So that was also really funny. It took a turn I didn't expect, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm a Doctor Who stan. I will love it always. It's really hard to rate those books because I just enjoy the story so much, and they are definitely a comfort read for me. Hence why I read 3 this month, because I didn't have the opportunity to read and really focus. So I really invested time in, getting through some of those books. So yeah, lots of fun. I also listened to The Resilience Project, which is finding happiness through gratitude, empathy, and mindfulness. And that was written by Hugh Van Cuylenberg. This was okay. I started it in March because the school that my kids were attending was starting to bring this project in, and I wanted to learn a little bit about it. I found the book to be really beneficial. I thought that it was great that this was something that was coming into schools. However, I've read a lot of self-help work, and I think that, you know, the tools are brilliant, but they are tools that I had read about before. But Hugh's story was really interesting, how he got to where he is now and why he decided to start the Resilience Project, the things that he'd learned along the way. That was a really interesting aspect of the story, and I thoroughly enjoyed listening to that. So it's well worth the read. I think that if you like self-help books, if you like, you know, learning more tools to have in your mental health toolkit, I think that's always vital and important, and that's why I like to read them so much. Even if they are general things that I'm already aware of, it's nice to have the reminder from time to time, because it's not something that's always sitting in the forefront of your mind. Like, you don't automatically think, oh, I'm going to do that tool because I know that will work for me right now. It's usually, sometimes you need to sort of recycle this information. So I enjoyed it. It was a beneficial read, and I think it's worth the read. Another audiobook, because I did a lot of audio this month. Like I said, it was a busy month. But I read 8 Rules of Love, How to Find It, Keep It, and Let It Go by Jay Shetty. This was another one which was, you know, a little bit of information I already kind of knew, but it was a great refresher, especially considering what's been occurring in my life, in all positive. It was nice to go through and just have a sort of reminder of these things, you know, and how to find and grow a healthy relationship, which, is vital. It's so important. And after a history of toxic and not great relationships, I'm fighting the good fight and making sure that I have everything I possibly can, to be able to find and keep and have a wonderful, healthy relationship. So I enjoyed it. It was a good read. I think that if you haven't read anything like this before, this would be very eye-opening. It's a great book to read if you're focusing on trying to find some tools for all your relationships. I also am very proud to say that I finally finished this short story collection. If you have been around for a little while, then you'll know that this is one that I have been slowly working through for the last few months. I finished the last 6 or 7 stories this month, and there are some great stories in here. There are some really good stories in here. There are a whole heap of classics, not the full story, just the first few chapters. So I kind of picked it up as a taste test to see if, I wanted to delve into more time travel stories that are kind of classics. And yes, the answer is yes, I do. H.G. Wells, I'm coming for you, buddy. Some of these stories were great. There was also a whole lot of stories that either hadn't been published before or were published in newsletters, monthly sort of articles. So they were shorter stories, but they were really interesting. There's a lot of really good stories in here, amongst some not so great ones, but that's okay. It's a hit and miss. That's going to happen in a short story collection. And it was a chunky boy, and the writing is incredibly small. So it took me a long time, and I'm so glad that I'm finished. And I can now put this on my wall, on my bookshelf, and be like, do you know what? I read that. Yeah. And it's definitely meant that I will be delving into some more books very, very soon in the time travel genre. So I've even got some vlogs coming. So super excited about that, but I've already gone into that a little bit and I don't want to give too much away. So yeah, in a previous video. So yeah, that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Then I also finished Hench by Natalie Zena Walschots. So this was one that I picked up in January. I think it was a little bit of a cheeky haul that I didn't necessarily plan on having. In fact, I was going to try and do a book buying ban this year. That hasn't gone as successfully as I would have liked, but I picked this up because it was about superheroes and villains. It's about the Hench, an admin assistant, which, that's kind of my jam. I love admin work and data. I know I'm crazy, but it just brings me joy. And this is about Anna, who is just kind of like a casual temp henchman doing admin and data work for the villains. She ends up being horrifically injured by a superhero in the process of trying to save the day, and kind of pisses her off, which is kind of valid. Look, it wasn't exactly what I expected, but I had a really great time with this book. And I think that if you're just looking for a fun little romp with, superheroes and villains where, questioning morals, are the superheroes really the good guys? It was a lot of fun. There's a lot of action. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It did take me a while to read, but that's purely based on what had been happening outside of my zone. I don't think that it was based on the book, and I recommend reading it if you are into Marvel, superheroes, stuff like that. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. It was really good. Then I received this arc, Ancient as the Stars by Maya Dajani, which I just finished recently, and this was interesting. I read it while I was helping my brother post-surgery, so I probably wasn't in the best mindset for this book. It was quite confusing. It's sci-fi, time travel, interdimensional, the present protagonist runs into a previous version of themselves, but from a different reality, and it was confusing. I was very confused, but I still enjoyed it. I liked the banter. I think that the writing style was definitely up my alley. There's a lot of insults, there's a lot of hard conversations. Trigger warning for the fact that this does delve into topics such as dealing with severe mental health issues after leaving a domestic violence situation, which I thought was handled interestingly. There's a lot of views in the book that I didn't agree with and that I was really angry with, but I like the way that it was handled, and I like that the protagonist in the end, you know, the way it was handled by the end was a lot better. It was a solid read. I didn't mind it, even though I was confused. I definitely think that that was just my headspace and not necessarily the book itself. So yeah, I think I rated it 4 stars, maybe 3.5. I literally reviewed this the other day. I can't remember, but yeah, I did enjoy it. It was a good time. If you get the chance to read it, definitely give it a go, especially if you like time travel and sci-fi like myself. If you're anything like me, I want to read every time travel book in existence. I know I won't, but I want to. But yeah, that is the 8 books that I read this month. It wasn't that many, but I had a really good time with the books that I did read, and I'm hoping to have a little bit more of a productive reading month this month, hopefully with things slowing down in every other aspect of life. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you read this month, if there was anything that you DNF'd, if there was anything that became an absolute favorite. Also, let me know if you've read any of these, what you thought of them. I think that, you know, it's so interesting hearing other people's opinions. I'll leave it here for now. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you stayed till the end of the video, I appreciate you so much, and I thank you for helping me on this journey. I'm having so much fun with this, and I'm enjoying connecting with other like-minded individuals that love reading as much as I do. So yeah, thank you so much. Please subscribe if you're new. Let me know, have a chat with me in the comments about any books that you have on your radar, and I will talk to you in another video very, very soon. Goodbye, my darlings.